Kia ora everyone, today I take a look at a very cool special release LEGO Star Wars set, one for fans over the age of 20 but targeted to the fans of 8-year-olds and higher. Emphasis on the plus sign there, people. This here is set 75388, Jedi Bob Starfighter, which released this year in 2024 in the month of August. The set here contains 2 minifigures and a gonk droid character containing 305 pieces in total, and it retails for 40 USD or 65 NZD. I've completely stopped buying LEGO at full price, so I was able to get this for 50 NZD on a sale, which is a bit closer to 30 USD if you convert it for all those American viewers out there. The set overview here is a Jedi Starfighter from the Attack of the Clones era of Star Wars, a ship design that we have seen before, but now with the new figures celebrating a brand new release. We have Jedi Bob, a Mon Calamari stormtrooper, and a gonk droid to build up your figure selection for a Jedi Starfighter that seems like a great idea on paper, but the value may not be there for everyone. Let's talk a little bit about the history of this set, or rather the minifigure really, the reason for the set's existence, my thoughts on the price here, and then we will take a look at the review. Of course, if you want, there are timestamps down below for you to just jump around. If you like this video and you would like to see some more, then liking the video and subscribing to the channel does help to support us here in making more videos like this one. So, super quick history lesson here. This September, Disney Plus releases a LEGO Star Wars special that involves reality-bending narratives, multiversal characters, all sorts of wacky shenanigans like that, and one of our characters featured in the trailer is none other than Jedi Bob, voiced by comedian Bobby Moynihan. It was one of the more versatile comics on SNL in my opinion. He's no stranger to the world of Star Wars, already appearing in voiced roles before this one, but for me, he was really recognizable as one of the great talents from some of the really great SNL Star Wars related skits during that current era of Disney based movies. Bobby is a fan of Star Wars, so it makes sense to bring him in for a voice role like Jedi Bob, a character whose first introduction was way back in 2002. It was a name that was given to an unnamed Jedi minifigure included in the first ever LEGO Republic gunship set based on Attack of the Clones. That generic name and unknown origin made him quite popular amongst the community, and he developed a bit of a fan base, with LEGO's official products even committing to the bit. The craziest thing about nostalgia though is that it only really relates to a very set group of people, and it's not something that can necessarily continue on with everyone. Jedi Bob remained as this fun obscure factoid until the fan voted LEGO Star Wars UCS set in the early 2020s. The deciding vote was the gunship, which won by a landslide. Prequels fans were beginning to make it very clear that they are the ones in charge now when it comes to the consumerism of LEGO Star Wars sets, and so speculation began around that time as to what minifigures would be included, and unanimously it seems that Jedi Bob was decided as being the desirable inclusion, to which LEGO replied simply by saying no. So a remake of Jedi Bob here was something talked about and requested years ago, and now here we are. All it took was for a brand new LEGO Star Wars special to be made for Disney Plus, and hell, it got a sale out of me and everything, so what do you know? The set really did appeal to me because Jedi Bob is from my time of LEGO Star Wars consumerism. I remembered reading about him in the visual diaries, and despite the fact that I don't have the original figure because, come on now, he is from a pretty important time of LEGO Star Wars in my life, I did think that this would be a really good idea for a special year of anniversary celebrations, especially if he remains looking retro. The only problem here was that price point. I repeat on just about every single review nowadays, unfortunately, LEGO is no longer for the masses. That audience has been alienated by their price points and lack of value amongst a number of different factors. Sometimes it's based around the piece count, sometimes it's minifigure details or minifigure inclusions or lack thereof, and all in all, seeing a LEGO Star Wars Jedi Starfighter for $65 NZD really just rubbed me the wrong way. When you compare this to previous Jedi Starfighter releases, the value just doesn't really seem to be there, and the markup may be minimal, yes, but it's only minimal now. Imagine what it would look like in a few years. If you had told me in 2020 that $50 Starfighters were going to become $65 as the norm, I don't think I would have believed you. More on this discussion point at the end of the video though. Jedi Starfighters are very appealing to me, the prequels kid now all grown up, so it's hard to not be excited for these things. Jedi starships also usually feel warranted for remakes in my eyes, since they'll at least swap between characters or designs. I can't say the same when it comes to remakes of things like Luke's Landspeeder or the X-Wing and TIE Fighter models. Jedi starships are also ideally a cheaper way of showing your interest in the theme. So how does this one here do? Design wise, I want to say it's very similar to some previous release models, size and detail wise. The last starship released in this design was only 2 years ago now, and I think it's coming up on retirement, so there is a good chance a lot of people managed to grab that one while it was available on shelves. Some interesting looking stickers here to the ship, a few more than I originally expected, located here on the wings and at the front ends and near the cockpit. And unlike previous releases, we have nowhere to place an astromech droid because this set skips out on one, including instead a gonk droid. However, during the editing here, I'm a big dummy, apologies. I forgot to show off that this chunk here can actually come away from the model, and inside it reveals some blue milk and a banana, because it's a jokey kind of a set. It's not one that needs to be taken super seriously. And looking at that gap there, it's possible that you could fit the gonk droid inside, and maybe that's what the set wants you to do, and maybe that's what happens in the show, who knows? We'll have to wait until September. We then have these twin engines at the front, which is an awesome design choice that feels like it was ripped from the original Clone Wars animated series. I can see that influence there, and one very simple design of landing gear so that the ship can stand nice and easily. It only needs the 1 foot peg here out front because the back has bricks that are already built into that design to allow the ship to stand anyway. It wouldn't be a Jedi vehicle without a couple of weapons here. We've got some firing missiles at the front which you can use to take out that trooper. My favorite design feature of the modern era of LEGO Star Wars ships is the idea of storage. We have these clips down here below which can be used to hold the extra missile and the lightsaber. Please never stop doing this, LEGO, because I think it goes a long way. 3 engines here at the back, and for ships like this, usually the engines are my favorite part to build. It's pretty simple here, but that curvature of the top wing does look quite nice. As for entering the ship, inside we have a small little seating area and a control panel. We can even see a pink brick in there as well. Bob fits inside nice and easily, and away we go. The minifigures of the set here are very special. One of them is a contender for me for favorite of the year so far. This here is Jedi Bob, who is without a doubt the main selling point of the set, but I really wonder what kids are actually into this thing compared to all of the adults. Jedi Bob is a near perfect translation for me into minifigure form here. He is updated though, using similar techniques that we see on modern figures. He's got soft goods cape, that lightsaber hilt is in the newer style, and a double-sided expression, but his details do retain that classics 2000s style. He features yellow skin, a choice that I think is perfect, and he even features some smears on his printing to indicate his age. His double-sided expression is a bit more appropriate for today's depiction of characters in media. They're always angry, it seems, and removing that cape there shows that there is no back printing on him, which would usually be a negative from me, but for here it works perfectly for Bob. It helps to keep that retro feel. Where I would have loved to have seen the LEGO group go the full extra mile could have been in areas like the cape and the classic harder material, or even a cape that features some wear and tear, but this is also supposed to be an adaptation of that character from a very specific piece of media, so they wanted to make him accurate to the new specials design. I really love Jedi Bob, and he works really well for my display as a good substitute compared to the original, and really, because of the modern approach to making minifigures, technically he is a much better figure than the original. This here is the Ackbar trooper. The set doesn't even give him the general depiction of being a Mon Calamari. They just straight up say that it's Ackbar on the box. This is where things seem to have taken a turn for some people. The trooper here uses, I believe, the same torso prints and leg prints as seen in previous sets. It's just a stormtrooper. I have to assume that it's the same Ackbar head as well that we've seen on other Mon Calamari figures before, because how often are they going to be changing up that design? For what it is, I think the inclusion is fine. It's a unique figure that I just can't see releasing in any other set, but it's nowhere near as interesting as getting a new Jedi Bob. And this here is Servo, our gonk droid, or SRVO, and I can't yet decipher if that's O like the letter or 0 like the number. I do love a good looking gonk droid, even if I personally think that the classic design is still to this day the best LEGO gonk droid design that they've made. The droid here features some interesting parts to build that design up, like that stamp piece atop his head, a calculator piece for some controls, and a green stud for the eye. I wish the gonk droid had an actual intended place on the ship to interact with the build, but nonetheless a decent enough inclusion. The box here shows the ship flying over some rather nice looking scenery. We can see the characters at the front of our box, and the corner of the box here also indicates that this is for the brand new special Rebuild the Galaxy. The back of the box here shows the ship now fully landed. We can see Bob being attacked here by the Mon Calamari trooper, and some of the other play features which actually this time round were tragically missed in the video review. Oops. Inside the box we have all of our parts for the first time ever in my country in paper bags. Really special to note here, because I have seen other people around the world cover this very same set and show that their bags were still in the traditional style of plastic bags. We have a wing piece outside the bags here. For some reason the other wing was actually included in the bag, so I'm not really sure what happened there. We also have the sticker sheet here, the basic instruction manual, and then the 4 numbered papered bags, which I really loved. I am a big fan of this packaging moving forward. The instructions are the usual simple kind of this modern era. There's no fancy printing to help keep the cost down despite the increase increase in prices, the usual instructions, and then the back here shows the set all built up, and we get some promotional images for the brand new sets for the Disney Plus special, the evil Millennium Falcon build and the TIE Fighter and X-Wing combo set, and all three of these sets look really good, but Jedi Bob was the only one that I was personally committed to. Overall, despite having some pricing concerns, I do like this set. I am having to remind myself though that I paid the same price for this as I did the past 4 releases of these kinds of sets. That's not actually the case here these days. Let's take a look at some comparisons towards other Jedi Starfighters though. A previous release here, excluding that complicated Yoda Starfighter, was Obi-Wan's based on Attack of the Clones. That set they released in 2022, containing 3 minifigures, and it included 282 pieces, which is 23 pieces less than Jedi Bob's, but it retailed for 30 USD, which is 60 NZD. Even then, I actually still got this set on sale because I bought it while I was visiting family in Australia, and their retail stores had this thing on sale. A slightly different comparison here, but this set released 2 years before that previous one. This is Anakin's based on Episode 3, and a brand new Jedi Starfighter in this same design style is going to be releasing next year in January, by the way, and I expect that set to follow the similar pattern of Jedi Bob's here. This released in 2020, containing just 2 minifigures and including only 248 pieces total, but also retailing for the price of 30 USD or 50 NZD. My best guess here is that that cockpit piece is an expensive one to make or something along those lines. 2 years before that set release, we had another set of Anakin Starfighter. This one was also based around Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars style. It released in the year of 2018 with the exact same 2 minifigures of Anakin and Obi-Wan. This included 247 pieces, and this time it retailed for the price of 20 USD, which once converted over should have only been $30 NZD, but instead this retailed for 50 NZD. That is crap. You can see where I'm kind of going with this. It wasn't too long ago that sets like this were around that $50 NZD range, and slowly with each release the price was increased despite the fact that the set isn't really changing that much or that drastically. Here in fact we get less figures than the previous one released, which actually featured 3 proper figures and not one of them was brick built. This Jedi Bob set here includes a few chunkier parts that LEGO don't really like producing for cost reasons. We've got a few of those bigger engine pieces, the cockpit pieces are usually pricey as well. Ultimately, I take a look at the set and the future releases, and I can't really see them making any more of these feel worthwhile if the builds are just remaining the same. The counterpoint there is that, well, they should remain the same, because I think that LEGO have already nailed all of these designs. It's just that the prices seem to be the only thing that's actually increasing here. The minifigures are really nice additions, but the lack of features here kind of makes it a hard sell. I really wish that Gonk Droid was interactive here with the ship, or if the Mon Calamari could do something too. I don't know, I'm feeling kind of conflicted on this one. Like, getting it on a sale does help a lot, and I don't have any regrets for getting this set like I do with other 2024 releases, so if you have the same nostalgic love of the prequels era LEGO line like I do, you might want to get this one for your collection. That's it from me everyone. Liking this video and subscribing to the channel here does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Ka kite on everyone, hope to see you all next time.